Hey everyone, good morning guys. I just wanted to give you yet again another update on the guide. It is for me 9 a.m. in the morning. This means it is, I would say, day 3.5, right? Exactly 3.5 days ago plus 1 hour for me. The league started at 8 p.m. on a Friday and now it is 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. And so here we are, and I'm just gonna go through basically the whole guide, the build and whatnot. Maybe not as long as last time, but let's see. It's still going to be one take, by the way, just so you know. So, Thyworm, level 97 currently, so doing very well in the tankiness department. And overall just doing pretty great. The defenses, I'm all capped at 80, 76% chaos res. And block, if I just attack and cast a spell, it is 68-70. But if I also use my potion, Rumi's Concoction, we get up to 75-76. And Rumi's Concoction is up most of the time, right? Because in maps, I'm killing like a gazillion monsters. So defense is very good. Also, 4 endurance charges from a perfect warlord. I will get over the Spectres shortly. Otherwise, bleeding avoidance I managed to get yesterday because I found the Darkness Enthroned with 97% effect of socketed abyss jewels, and in one of those here I put a 45% chance to avoid bleeding. Times 1.97 is, I don't know, but it's like 90, 92 or something. Oh no, a little less, like 88, 87, something like that. And then I have one more jewel in here somewhere that also says bleeding avoidance. Well, one of them is at least bleeding avoidance. There, another 41% bleeding avoidance. See? So I'm bleed immune, I'm corrupted blood immune because of this mastery. So in terms of immunities, doing also very, very good. Stun recovery 43. You sometimes do get stun locked, but I think the more life and armor and whatever you have, the less of a problem that is. I will go over some of the PoB stats as well, but this is the main character so far. Looking, I think, at the skills, really not much have changed, but I did get a 6-link, and I also managed to get Ruthless, level 1 Ruthless on my SRS. I think I had that last time as well. So currently it is a level 1 Ruthless, minion damage at 2120, I managed to corrupt 1. Multi-strike 2020, Unleash just level 20. Elemental Focus, that is the 6-link that I put in for 2020. And elemental damage with attacks. Everything else pretty much stayed the same. I have done some experimenting with many of the coins. For example, this is a more duration SRS, and I tried my luck on Guardian Golems. Now, the first one turned into a high impact mine, which, is fine, I guess. Then concentrated effect, I just don't think that is an upgrade because it reduces their AoE, which, I don't think matters much. And chance to poison, which, I suppose, if anything, you could just override it with this and have a golem that is poisoning enemies as well. It will not matter all that much, but who knows. So there's that. Most of the other most of the other gems didn't change as far as I know, but everything leveled up. And also I managed to corrupt a level 21 Spectre gem, which means that this is 21. I got +4 from global modifiers, so I made a wand, a shield, and then +2 from the helmet itself. It means it's at level 25. That is the breaking point, and now I can have 3 raised Spectres plus the 4th raised Spectre from over here, from Death Attunement, and that means that I have now 4 Spectres in my army. And they are the big guy, the hulking miscreation. This summons constructs and also buffs your constructs and SRS arc constructs. I have a forest warrior walking around here somewhere. He is over there with the big axe. That gives me permanent onslaught here. And also he has Culling Strike. I have this guy who was shouting, that's a perfect warlord who is giving me endurance charges and vitality. And then I have a bird. Here it is. Hopefully you can see it. There's a bird running around. He does a lightning damage debuff, and he also gives me grace. See, so I have a grace aura, and I have a vitality aura. These are level 20 auras, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe they get even a little bit higher, as the Spectres also get higher. But my Spectre army is with that basically completed. Maybe I'll try to go for like another Spectre, but that's going to be a lot of grinding. I'm not sure I will do that, and if I get lucky. That's the Spectres. The minions otherwise haven't changed. The setup hasn't changed, but what has changed is the gear. The gear has changed quite a bit. So, I managed to craft myself another wand, a +1 all minion skills and 18 increased attack and cast speed, and then the trigger. All the other stats are pretty bad still, but I am doing simply, I just scour a decent wand. This was my previous wand, for example, and then I just alteration spam because I got a lot of currency, and because we are finding so many exalted orbs these days, and also quite a few regal orbs. You can just alteration spam a wand until you hit +1. It takes about 250 on average, which is not too bad. And then I just augment regal, spam, or at least craft my trigger, spam double exalted orb, and this is a relatively cheap and somewhat effective way to craft your minion wand. I think the second way, once you have found it, which I actually did, is using the multi-mod. So I think it is crafted, can have up to 3 crafted modifiers for 2 divines. That gives you a little bit more freedom in the crafts that you would put up there yourself. But this is already a suffix, so, but it would mean, for example, that you would be able to craft minions deal about 80% increased damage, right? You can craft the up to 3 crafted modifiers, you can craft the trigger, and then you can craft this as a prefix, and then you start out with a +1, so that would be, in fact, an upgrade. I would lose increased attack and cast speed, however. So it's a little bit up for debate if that is what you want. Or maybe you just want to give them a bit of life and damage. You have some of these options, I would say. Okay, then that is it for the wand. I have also tried some fossil crafting, but haven't got lucky so far. So this is the wand. It's better than last time, but still not amazing. I found a +2 all minion skill gem. I think I had this last time as well. I'm not 100% sure. But this is what I got, I think, from a ritual. A new 6-link, which I got from, I think, from the ground. And I just crafted on this. And I 6-linked it myself. So it is not as great as last league when you had all of this stuff from the breach tree, but I'm just not doing breach. I've done breach for months. I'm not doing breach. So I got this from the ground. It's pretty decent. It's got, you know, good life roll, decent defenses. I really needed a little bit of energy shield because what I noticed on a 6-link, specifically with the level 1 Ruthless, is that I was just running out of mana. And if you have more energy shield, you also have more energy shield recharge. And now if I want to, you know, summon my SRS, there's no issues. But if I have 800 energy shield, which I had before, I'm running out of energy shield to cast with Eldritch Battery. So that does become a little bit of an issue at some point. But it's good. The shield I crafted the exact same way as the wand. So I was just alteration spamming until I hit +1. And then I'm hoping to slam a few good modifiers on there, which I kind of did. So the tier 9 energy shield is pretty bad. But then tier 4 life, stun and block recovery is also pretty bad. Life regen is really not horrible at all. And then I crafted some resistances. Again, just a decent starter wand just to get our star shield. just to try and get your race Spectre to level 25, and also all your other minions, right? I mean, my SRS now is level 24. This is very helpful to have minion levels in your build. The gloves, pretty new gloves, as you can see from memory strands. So it already dropped quite well. I slammed it with an Exalt for I think another mod, and I think that I hit the tier 1 defenses. So the first prefix that you see over there. The life was already on there. I crafted defenses and everything else was there. It's pretty good. I need dexterity in this build. So a high dexterity roll on a gear piece somewhere is going to give you some leeway there. And otherwise also just base stats, right? Almost 500 armor, almost 100 energy shield. That is pretty decent. Of course, the Darkness Enthroned. I got pretty lucky on the roll, but otherwise I would have just spent a bunch of divines on this and probably farmed a few more. This is coming from an Abyssal Depth, from the boss. And then finally the boots. I don't think these changed actually since last time. So I think I've been walking around with these for a few days now. But they're okay, right? Not great, not terrible. Decent movement speed, some life. That's about it. Rings, not sure they changed too much. This is just a lot of life and resistances. This is new. I managed to get some more minion stats in here. As long as, you know, these things have life and some minion stats on the bone ring, I think you're good to go. And I'm crafting more fire and chaos res. That is it for the build. I got a Rumi's concoction in. And this is just a Quicksilver flask, but then with a new MTX. The Rumi's concoction is going to help you out quite a bit. This is just 12% attack block, which is good. Oh, and I anointed the Testudo, which is one of my favorite anoints. It's super cheap. A 10% block, life recovery, recover life on block. Really pretty decent, I would say. So, good enchant or good anoint for not so much cash. These are the biggest upgrades, I would say, together with the Spectres. This has really boosted my overall tankiness and damage to sort of new levels. Plus the fact, of course, that I've been leveling all my gems, right? So now pretty much everything is 2020 where it makes sense. And that is a huge power spike. I've heard some people that went into tier 16 and said, oh, it's a little squishy. Yeah, if you go into tier 16 with like a level 18 and 0% quality gem and, you know, a 5 link and barely any gear, and you rush to tier 16, then you can hit a wall. I understand that. Yeah, then don't do that, is the advice, right? If you can't handle tier 16, don't go to tier 16 yet. Just farm up some gear. Do some breach, do some ritual, do any league mechanic really. Pick stuff up from the ground, and get some gear, right? Because with a little bit of gear, because this gear is still not good, I think we can agree on that, right? This gear is nothing special by any stretch of the imagination, but this gear is more than plenty to take on tier 16, which I will show you. Before we do that though, I do want to say two more things. I updated again the written guide on Mobalytics. The PoB is updated since yesterday, so I imported this character into Path of Building. I converted all of the other trees. The latest Path of Building is over here, and also in the link you can copy the code. Plus I will of course put it in the description of this video, so you have everything in one go. And then talking about the PoB, so all of the trees seems to be intact. I did a quick check, so everything still works. And this is my character, so I put it after the level 100 character of last league. So this is the level 100 character of last league, and currently this is my level 97 character of this league. So that gives me an option to talk a little bit about the tree. Really not much changed. I think a lot of these are expected. Very few changes. I did manage to get all of the jewel sockets, so I've also been crafting my abyss jewels quite a bit. Again, just alteration spamming, regul, exalt, and hope you get lucky. I can maybe better show you this in game. And then you get something like this, which is really not that hard to make. decent tier 2 fire flat damage roll, some life. You want some sources of taunt and blind on gems, but you really only need it on one gem in all honesty, and then a chance to avoid bleeding in my case. But this could also be, you know, minion damage when you use the minion skill, things like that. You have plenty of options, and I've crafted several ones. If I have something that I otherwise just kind of like, but it is not great, such as this gem, I tend to corrupt it, hoping to hit Corrupted Blood Immunity or another decent Corrupted Implicit, so that I can get rid of this and save up one more point. I managed to get the Katarina, so Umbral Army. This is all according to the guide. This is huge quality of life though, because you will have 20 SRS up all the time, meaning that is 20% or 40% increased attack and cast speed, and also 40% increased defenses in total for the Spectres. So really decent upgrades, and I think very steady progression. Looking at the PoB though, these are the numbers after fixing the configuration and checking the skills. What you do have to do in PoB, and thus what I have done, is you have to manually put in the Ruthless, because that's what I hit, right? It has not yet figured out how to deal with imbued skill gems. So I have this, and then the level 1 Ruthless, which is significant damage, because now I'm at 9 million, let's say. If I take it off, it's 1.5, right? So it's like 20% more damage, which also makes sense, like Ruthless is about 20% more damage, level 1. So that all checks out, but then primarily I just wanted to talk a little bit about the different stats. Now, I'm mapping only, so I did check the flask, but I can uncheck them for a second here. You still see I have 125,000 effective hit pool, 10,000 max hit. This character has become already significantly tanky on day 3. Thanks to the Spectre buffs, thanks to the gear, thanks to the block cap, almost at least, right? 6870 without roomies. So mapping is a total breeze, and this is also the reason why I'm 97.5. This character has a hard time dying, really, assuming you know, don't just stand still and don't cast any spells in the middle of monster packs. But I've been doing some pretty hard content, and no issues there whatsoever. So these are the numbers. The resistances I went over, it means I'm block capped. I could get theoretically 2 more spell blocks, so I could go up to 78 spell block. Pretty decent life regeneration with 800, thanks to the vitality, so that does help out a little bit. But just great effective hit pool, right? 214,000 effective hit pool, thanks to several defensive layers. 16,000 evasion, 12,000 armor, you know, clear, almost block capped, resistances at 80% and 76 chaos res. And then decent damage, of course. From the SRS alone, it does 7.3 million damage. And then some supporting cast, right? Calling Strike, the Sentinel, some golems, that sort of thing. It's not even counting the Spectres. So the Spectres also do a little bit of damage, right? So it's probably 9.5, maybe even 10 million damage at this point. And I could include a few more cursors and whatnot as well. So finally, wanted to finish again with a map. I'm doing significantly juicier content than that you saw 2 days ago. I managed to get all the Void Stones, so all Void Stones are there. I'm basically now just progressing, doing some astrolabes, that sort of thing. I'm trying to get the final bonuses from the Maven and whatnot, but I'm pretty much there, right? I'm at 100 here, and then I think, can you see, I need 8 more points. So I need to complete 4 more Nightmare maps, but I will do that at level 98, because those bosses do make me die from time to time. Some more Maven invitations, and then I'm at full Atlas tree if you want to make a picture. So I'm a bit more juicing currently. I've stepped away from ritual. I'm more going into Searing Exarch boxes, shrines, So you will see me picking up a lot of shrines and that stuff. But maybe for the showcase, to keep it fair, I can just do this tree. There's nothing in it, right? So no artificial buffs to the character. Also a significantly less juicier map then as a result, but I think maybe that is fair, right? So I tend to run Mesa for the for the, what is it called? The altars. But I guess if I have nothing on the Atlas, then that's also fair. So then I will just I can still do a Mesa, and I did put in some scarabs to put a bit of juice. Now this will not be as juicy as if I would enable the Atlas, but I think for a showcase it's fine. So I have maps, shaper influence, packs, specs, and a file side area and quantity. It's an 80% and with another 19% quantity. So again, you will not find. Actually, this is a terrible idea. I'm gonna run my own tree. I'll just not click the shrines otherwise, right? Because I want the altars. And I'm not gonna waste all this currency. Okay, so a Mesa map, you rush the boss because the boss actually drops the stuff that you want, right? So you can get astrolabes. You get, in theory, you can get exceptional support gems and whatnot. I haven't seen any of those, but yeah. Right, here you see the damage as well. Yeah, he drops a map, that's just great. And now I just clear the rest of the map. Oh yeah, I've put in some Pantheon influenced monsters. So you're gonna see some Arcalis and whatnot. I'll also not click the Nico things, because that's also a buff to the character. So I'll keep it clean if I can, otherwise I'll remove it. So no shrines, no artificial power. But clearly if you also click some shrines, then you're gonna have a great time, right? I go for the additional modifiers typically. Okay, that's just, you know, more loot. But you can probably tell, like, the tankiness has increased significantly, right? Like, very, very significantly. I realized in this, a little bit of a pro tip, that you should really try to get these mirages sort of in the mirage. So like the floaty figures, right? You really should try to get those. Like the ones that are basically hidden. Let me try here. These things, right? These are the monsters that spawn the coins. So it's really worth trying to figure out where they are. I'm significantly debuffing myself, by the way. I gave myself minus armor and whatever. But you really need to try and figure out where these guys are and walk over them so they spawn to give you the best chance of these corpses. It's, I think, underrated. I haven't really watched many people's content at the moment, but yeah, that is what I noticed in these maps. Let's not click the shrine, right? So there's not too many of them here. This was a small zone to begin with, by the way. That's okay. And then I just clear the rest of the map. And then whenever I have an astrolabe that I can sort of semi-comfortably run, I do it. Oh, maybe on the animate Guardian, now that we're here. I have found an SNS Gentle Touch, as I'm sure you can tell, because the entire screen is exploding. So he is exploding basically everyone, which helps quite a bit, right? He also has a +1 curse chest. I found a hunter influenced chest, and if you reroll caster on the harvest crafting bench, it has a 50-50 to roll a +1 curse, so he can apply an additional curse. So that means that corpses that die, they are cursed with, I think the SNF Gentle Touch gives you a temporal change. Maybe it's despair. It's one of the two. You can tell by the icon, basically. So these corpses that die around him, they get cursed. And then if anything is killing them, the whole thing explodes, right? So it's super good. Super good for clear. SNF Gentle Touch is kind of a must-have item if you want to get away from melee splash, which I then no longer need, right? So I'm not running melee splash anymore. I don't need to switch for pinnacle bosses or anything. Multi-strike is just always on here now by default, and because of the SNS Gentle Touch, everything gets destroyed. And because you yourself are really quite tanky, yeah, this has just become incredibly smooth. And now imagine even if you click a bunch of shrines, which I normally do, you're gonna be in for a great time. And this is already the map, so also the map clear has increased significantly, speed has increased significantly, right? The build has just progressed super nicely. So it's about 4.5 minutes with me talking. Now include some shrines and some other buffs from the Nico packed with energy, and you're going to be absolutely zooming through the content on very respectable, achievable gear. I will be pushing it more. I will probably also be streaming a little bit more for you guys. Yeah, and that's, I think, all that I wanted to say, right? And we can have a final look at the Animate Guardian. So he still has the Dying Breath. This chest piece is the +1, so that's just an El has mean / hunter influenced chest piece. He has the Lair cast. He still has, I think, the Wake of Destruction boots, and then the SNF's Gentle Touch gloves. That's my Animate Guardian so far. Yeah. Guys, hope you're also having a good league start. I'm having an absolute blast so far. I think Mirage is just amazing. I want to thank you all for tuning in. And if you want to catch me stream a little bit later today, probably feel free. Thanks again, guys. And I will see you probably in a couple of days. I'll also start about making my normal content again, I would say. Actually scripted content, you know, with recorded footage, that sort of thing. All right. Thanks everyone again once more, and I will catch you later. Bye.